how do we get rid of that fakeness? I mean, I just being authentic, like that to me, I think took my coaching level business to another level, because I was under pretense for so many years, especially as an autism mom. I spent a lot of time hiding, especially professionals who we come out into the corporate world. We want to always seem perfect. We want everything to look good because that's the way we fit in. But truly, we were withering away inside because we couldn't be ourselves. We couldn't joke around. We couldn't smile. We couldn't let our guard down. So for 2021, a lot of us need to, and this is where I think going to Heart of the Matter combos are really going to help you to get the tools to unleash and unmask and find that authentic self, find that person who really is there. And then how do I show up in the world? Well, wait, how do I show up for myself?
Yeah.
How do I show up for others around me? And then for those who want to launch their own brand, how do I show up for those that are called for me to serve?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You know what it's amazing to me. Black women are the least likely to get married and the most likely to get divorced. That's mind blowing. The least likely to get married and the most likely to get divorced. And when we read the comments from Dr. Nicole's fans on Put a Ring on It, and people are crying out for help. People really need to understand how to have a healthy relationship. It is a crucial, critical time. And we know during the pandemic, there was an increase in divorce, there was an increase in violence, there was, a lot of things were happening in the home because now, we had a lot of distractions before with going to the office and all kinds of things, taking the kids to sports events and all kinds of stuff, and now we're all in the house together. So we were forced to get to know each other. So it is a critical time for the conversations and the wisdom that she brings on the topic of relationships and loving yourself and learning how to love others. And relationships cross the gamut. It goes into your leadership and how do you relate, in the workplace? How are you relating to your employees, your coworkers? When you wear that mask, it's everywhere. It tends to be it shows up in all areas of your life. So it's a critical time for these conversations.
And I'm so excited for the women and the men that will show up. I just did an interview today about how do you recover from a broken heart. It's a really an interview, and it was a really good conversation that we had. And I said, it's challenging because our history, our historical reference as Black women is so filled with trauma that was undocumented and unlabeled, that we go through trauma and it's normalized on a level that is so toxic and crazy. You can't even, you're like, okay, so this happened to her and that's okay? Like, that's not okay. That should push her to the brink of something really bad. But everybody's like, well, no, that happens all the time. That happens to people all the time. So what we're now starting to understand is, like I said to the lady today, I said, kudos for labeling a broken heart. And she said, what do you mean? I said, if I, as a Black woman, can say my heart is broken, that is a label that now is a diagnosis that I can get a plan to fix. So now I need a wholeness plan. My heart, I only have one. I need it to live. If my brain is not working, but my heart is working, I'm still alive. I can be brain dead and still alive, but I cannot be alive without a heart. So if my heart is broken and I can muster enough to say my heart is broken from this relationship, the next thing I must do is find a heart wholeness plan. What is my plan to fix my heart? Right?
Indeed.
Not your heart every day is begging, fix me, heal me, help me. And you're like, no, I'm raising my kids and I'm working. Ma'am, the heart must pump blood to itself first, then to the other organs in the body. So what Crystal and I are talking about is, honey, your mojo ain't missing. That's not the problem. That some of the things that we think are the problem are not the problem. And if we can fix some of the things that are truly the problem, oh, honey, yummy love is around the corner for you. It's around the corner, because a heart that is not broken can be vulnerable.
Ooh, child.
You know, so those are the type of things that we're talking about in Heart of the Matter conversations for women who are preparing and women who are in relationships, but they got a whole body girdle. The only thing you can see is their eyeballs and their teeth.
Oh, gosh. A whole body girdle.
The whole thing, because you're not going to hurt me. I done been hurt already, so I'm going to be here, but I'm still defending all of my safety, which means you're not really there.
Come on. Now I'm excited about Heart and Matters conversations.
Yes.
So Sister Diamonds, tell me, why do you think you were purposed for what you're doing? I love it when I get the that means that was a good question, y'all. Why do you think you were purposed? Why you? You know, what about you? What about your journey?
I think, you know, we had a late lunch today, and we were talking about how every single thing along our journey in life purposed us for this perfect moment. All the ups, all the downs, all the challenges in leadership and love prepared us for this particular moment. We both have a heart to serve. And so we are taking all those experiences that we've had and the wisdom that we've gained and the knowledge that we've gained, and we're offering it. You know, we're offering it to help women, you know, to shortcut some of that in their lives. And we've gained these amazing tools, and we want to show other women how to use them. How to use them. This is the tool you use to fix your heart, or this is how you take off that body girdle, you know, or this is how, when you earn that seat at the table, you speak up and you make sure that you're seen. You know, so we everything that we've been through has purposed us for this moment.
Yeah.
I think too, Dr. Ali, obedience is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like for me, before I even really knew what it was, I would hear stories about my obedience as a child, and I would hear stories about just my temperament and how I moved into things. I kind of was always the person that, now I'll fight you, right? Here's the thing that's funny. People that knew me as a young person would be like, that mouth on her, she will ginsu you, all your organs be on the floor, and you won't even know. You'll be like, call the paramedic, and you won't even know what happened. And that was a part of me because it was an undisciplined tongue. It hadn't yet been cultivated for the gift and the craft that I would walk in. So what I've learned is, for me, obedience has, in my opinion, said a lot to the Lord that I was going on his journey of preparation to the next thing and the next thing. And he's always been very gentle and kind with me. So in those years where I would cuss you like a sailor, he'd be like, she coming. She doesn't know what to do with it yet, right? So if you make her angry, this is what comes out, because she has a gift, but it hasn't been cultivated yet. And he would just be really tender with me over the years. Now you see me on Put a Ring on It. If you don't know where I've come from, you may not really know what he's done. But if you give me a moment, I could tell you, oh, honey, he has done a with me, because what it looked like and how he took his time has brought me to the point where I can be transparent with Crystal. And even when I'm upset, I can say, sis, I'm upset, but I'm trying to manage myself. And I'm having a moment of self-awareness, but I'm really upset. And she'll just sit with me and she'll listen. And she'll help me figure it out. And I'll get to the other side because the tools over the years have been sharpening. So one of the things that I think is a why for me has been just trying to listen. And though I know the Lord is not angry with me, I never wanted to anger him or make him unpleased. And I know he's fully accepting of who I am, but I always had in my spirit that he was a guide, and I wanted to make sure that he knew I was willing to follow.
Ooh, that obedience. That obedience part right there. Quick reset with Sister Diamonds, amazing Crystal, Khalil, and Dr. Nicole. Some of you guys know both of them. They've showed up on Good Morning America, Steve Harvey, and you're definitely seeing Dr. Nicole a little bit more now. It's a snippet on and put a ring on it on the OWN network. And they have an event that they're having many events coming up, but the one I really want to make sure you guys have an invite to is the Heart of the Matter Conversations, which if you guys want to have access to it, definitely go to bit.ly/Heart of the Matter, Heart of the Matter Conversations. I got combos, right? Yep. So I'll pop that in the thread below, and it's already popped in for some spaces. And for those of you catching this on the podcast, it will be in the show notes. I want to ask this question because every little girl, well, I don't know, a lot of little girls I've met have always wanted to be on Oprah, have always wanted to be on the OWN network, or want to have their own show on the OWN. Take us back and really, really quick, because this was not part of the interview process, but since you're here, why not just ask the question? How did you feel when you got that call from Willard Packard saying, Dr. Nicole, we would like you to blank? Take us back, give us a nice little wrap up for that little girl out there that's still hoping one day that they too will be featured on the OWN network.
Well, we talked about obedience, and we talked about service, and we talked about humility, and we talked about excellence. I believe all of those things came into play. Crystal and I were together when I got the news. We were in her car, and one of the executive producers called on FaceTime. It was maybe 2 or 3 days before the International Slumber Party. Now, the significance for me is the Lord told me on May 16th, 1993, that I would work with Oprah. That's 27 years ago. We are now planning something for young women across the globe in the middle of a pandemic, when folks are like, you're doing what? Did nobody tell you it's a pandemic? Like, what kind of crazy are you working on where in 60 days you are trying to create an enterprise for 10,000 women across the world, and you don't know who's going to show up? Like, where they do that? Not good English, but where they do that at, right? And Crystal and I are holding on to the hem of God's garment, literally, because we're like, first of all, we know it's the pandemic. Second of all, we don't know who's going to show up. Third of all, we don't know 10,000 girls between the ages of 18 to 24. So you must know where they are, and you're going to provide them, because right about now, we're just praying that we heard you right.
Yeah.
And 2 days before the International Slumber Party, I got the call from the executive producer saying, her words were, "Hey, Ladybug." I said, "Hey, Robin, how are you?" She said, "I'm good. I just wanted to call to let you know Oprah chose you." And
look, cue the screaming.
We're all
silently.
Yeah, we're all screaming. We don't even know really why we're screaming just yet. We don't know, did she choose you for a phone call? Did she choose you for another audition? We're not sure, because that's all she said, and cue the screaming.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? And I said, "Robin, what does this mean?" She said, "It means that you're going to have your own show on OWN." That's what it means. So, again, service, humility, excellence. I don't know in the physical realm why she chose me, but I do know in the spiritual realm, it was because of service, humility, excellence, and obedience, and probably some other things that go with the brand of the God that Crystal and I serve.
No.
Oh man. Wow, wow, wow. So I am truly honored. First of all, that y'all chose me to be one of your executive coaches with this plan to put together this international slumber party in 60 days. And I'm like, wait, what? Took a deep breath and said, okay, let's go. I said, it's gonna be work. If y'all ready to work, then let's go. We gotta set up some systems. We went into beast mode,
Yeah.
right? And that was my obedience, because I was given a task in Sister Diamonds in helping you guys to cultivate and supporting you in whatever paths that he took me through, so that I can be part of that infrastructure for where we're going and what we've done. And I'm super duper proud of you ladies. Seeing when we had our first conversation like less than a year ago to where you are now, and knowing that there's so much more ahead, that we're still in the beginning stages, there's so many more lives to be impacted, and that we are just showing up in obedience. We don't have all the answers. Everything is not absolutely perfect. But what I love about you, and I love about any of the clients that God sends to me specifically, is that we just get to be authentically ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have to put on any bravado. He already took us through what he took us through. We already got our badassedness about us already. That's the great thing. So now we just have to combine powers and just see how else can we serve the world out there. So I'm super proud of you. I'm excited to support you. I'm always excited to jump into your call and coach y'all backwards and quietly in the background. And just know that wherever you guys are, I am. I'm just team Sister Diamonds, individually and collectively, and for those who we are all called to serve. So much more ahead for you guys. What do you see if you were to leave, and tell us what is your word, what is your phrase that you're stepping into 2021? What's that word that you want to leave someone with that you're going to be using for yourself? What's your parting word to whoever is sitting, listening, watching? I always say, if you're listening or if you're watching this right now, that means you are aligned to hear this. God really placed you at the right space to hear this divine message. And for those of you, definitely pass this out, share this along, invite some friends, do all that good stuff, because the message wasn't only created for you, but it's created for someone else. But then what do you think you were sent here to tell them and tell yourselves? Because usually when we coach others, we coach ourselves.
Mm. Every year at the end of the year, I pray on what's my focus word for the next year. And I was just really praying. I told Dr. Nicole, I was like, I haven't gotten my word yet. I'm trying to figure out what my word is. And right near the end of the year, it came to me, and my word is metamorphosis.
Mhm.
And when I looked it up, I was like, okay, God, when he gave me the word metamorphosis, I saw like a butterfly in a cocoon before they transform. And I looked it up, and it says, in the animal kingdom, it's a transformation from an immature thing to an adult thing through supernatural transformation.
Mhm.
And that's where I see us. We're still early in the entrepreneur, endeavor of Sister Diamonds, but God is moving us and morphing us in a way that we are moving into a more mature state for 2021. Through working with Dr. Alley, we've put our processes in place. We've developed a team. We've done so much work in the less than 12 months. In less than 12 months, we've created the world's largest international slumber party. We have built an amazing team of servant leaders who are just supporting us in every way, and they're badass in their own right. They work in excellence. We have our support team around us. We're holding fast to each other and learning so much. And now we're taking that and we're morphing into a corporation. We are truly like $1 billion organization blooming to serve over 1 million Black women around the world. When we first said international slumber party, we really didn't know what that meant.
Because international could be Canada and the US.
Exactly. We didn't know what that meant. But when we looked at the data, and there were 39 countries represented in places that we'd never heard of, and I've done a lot of travel. There were countries on there. I was like, where is that?
Mm-hmm.
And how did they find us? And when we saw comments on social media that we're going to meet behind the little tent and watch it and pay for the internet, we're going to chip in to pay for internet so that we can watch it, it blew our mind. And when we received emails from young ladies all over the world, from Blessing in South Africa, telling us how much it touched her and how she felt connected to all these other women around the world. You know, this thing, our baby, is growing. Yes. And it's morphing into an adult. So there's a scripture. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, and now I'm an adult, right? So now we've gone through a lot of the growing pains. We've learned how to work with one another. We've learned how to be leaders, because leadership is critical. We were already leaders in our own right, but when you start your own endeavor and it's yours, I was an executive of the procurement department. That's all I had to worry about, right? In corporate America. Now, Dr. Nicole and I are leading this major endeavor of service and, learning how to train up other leaders. And how powerful that is.
And that was huge.
Yeah.
And before I even get to Dr. Nicole or to Dr. Nicole's message, that was huge how we looked at the business. And when you guys were creating International Slumber Party, how we separated them into different aspects of the business. That's really what I think took us to the next level, is knowing that we need a marketing team, knowing that we need a PR team, knowing that we need different structures so that each one of these entities can work and I just keep thinking of Transformers, right? All the different parts are working so we could just get this whole big body moving together. That was such a major critical thing that we did, that took away some of the pressure, but then still added leadership.
That was the yummy icing on the cake for International Slumber Party. We came together, we had mentors and mentees, and they worked together to put together this event. The side effects, the yummy part that we didn't fully see, was how mentees became paid interns for Sister Diamonds, how mentees got jobs with some of the mentors, and how it's touched their lives. We were talking to some of our interns today, and they were saying how this experience has changed their life. And then some of the seasoned people on our team, the mentors that became employees and contractors of Sister Diamonds, are saying this is the best leadership experience that they've ever had, and how much they enjoy coming to work with us, and how they would carry water for us. Like if Sister Diamonds asked us to sell water on the side of the road to cars passing by, I'm all in.
We've heard multiple people say that, which is humbling, because we're like,
wow. Yeah, we have. And that is the yummy part of it, right? We wanted to serve and change lives, but we didn't see all the tentacles, all the different starbursts that God had planned for us. And it's been amazing. So metamorphosis is the word.
Yeah. All right. What you got, Dr. Nicole? What you leaving them with?
I am believing, and I have to tell you, I haven't quite solidified if this is the word, but it sure is looking like it. I'm testing some things out. I believe that the word is connection. And it's ironic because I am tossed between bliss and connection. And I'm connecting with the fact that both of those words in 2021, for African American, for Black, for minority, for women of color, is daring. How dare you want connection in a pandemic? How dare you want heart connection when what you've been programmed to do is to not be connected, to guard yourself, to defend yourself, to not be fully within your body, to have armor on all the time. You know, when I was growing up, my mom would be like, you should sleep in your bra, because my mom is Caribbean, right? And I'd be like, so when do I take it off to show up?
Oh gosh, that sounds like my mother.
And to her, it made all the sense in the world. But to my young mind that hadn't been cultured in wearing an armor, it just felt like I'd be all the time. It was just going to be on all the time. When do I get to take this thing off? Only to go in and have a 5-minute shower, because then you're going to say, you're going to use up all the hot water.
Facts.
Right? So I was like, God, dog, I can't catch a break. And in 2021, with Crystal and I and God's favor focusing on love and leadership, I want Black women to see bliss and connection as their birthright.
Yes.
And just see it as a possibility for you. You don't have to know how it's going to come. You don't have to know how God is going to manifest it. But if as a Black girl, because I still see myself, I am Black girl magic, Crystal is Black girl magic. If we see bliss as our right and connection as our right, what does it look like?
Ooh, you know what it looks like? It looks like blissful connection.
Yeah. Like seriously, what does it look like when we're not walking around expecting to be starved of connection for a pandemic, or because people will talk about you, or because you don't know how to trust, and all the, when that's not our conversation, but we're like, I'm ready for bliss. What's going to connect for me today? Who am I connecting to today? What kind of bliss am I going to experience today? And some of it is happening and some of it is just from the inside. Like, I think that's going to be a major part of our metamorphosis for this year. I really do.
And it's definitely needed, right? After being disconnected, after being by ourselves, after only, and physically not being able to hug our loved ones, our grandparents, our mothers, you know, the world is seeking and needing connectivity at this time. So it is a perfect world, but not just any regular type of connectivity. It's blissful connectivity. It gotta feel good, like connecting to thyself, connecting to others around you, and being okay with however you show up. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to supporting you guys through that process. Once again, guys, you don't want to miss the connectivity with these ladies. Stay in touch with them. Follow them on their Instagram. Follow them on their social media. That's only part of what they have planned for 2021. So whenever you're listening or watching, just know they got something else planned. For developing relationships, for developing you as a person, for singles, for those that are in couples, and or even just in a business, or wanting to figure out how do I really take myself to the next level. These ladies are truly amazing and skilled at what they do, like truly skilled. I mean, of course, and but of course, but not only that, they just have the biggest heart ever. So I'm looking forward to whatever we have in store for you. Stay tuned, stay connected, stay in metamorphosis. And I'm going to leave you with this last one. Stay in action. All right. So as always, continue to be amazing in your thoughts, in your words, and in your action. Until next time, peace.